Hey, this is Josh Keaton, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hi, this is Adam Mastriani, and you are listening to Altered Geek.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek. I'm your host, Steve Megatron, and joining me on this adventure into geekdom is TFG1 Mike.
Hello.
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 It was an interesting accent.
Yeah, it was... I've got weird things going on with my throat. It was kind of a combination of Mr. Hobbits over there and Yoda. It was a combination of Gollum and Yoda, even though it was really, really bad. Yeah, we're here, and D23 just happened this past weekend, and I figured, let's react to D23. Hey, at least more happened at D23 than it did at Warner Brothers' San Diego Comic-Con panel.
Well, I mean, and there was also Star Trek Day that happened.
True. Okay.
A couple days ago. And,
okay. Cool.
Yeah, a couple of notes from that. I skimmed it. I couldn't stand the color commentary hosts, and they had a DJ that was actually married to one of the hosts, and it was utterly painful to the point that somebody in the chat was saying, do you know what a batleth is?
No.
Do you remember The Next Generation in any capacity?
I remember
like Worf.
I remember Worf. Yep.
Okay. He has a weapon that's like the size of, it's like 5 foot long.
Yep.
It's got like 4 big spears at the ends.
Yep.
Somebody was saying take a batleth to this man and put him out of his misery. And right on the chat, and it was just utterly painful. And they dragged a executive that happened to be near the stage to explain the Hasbro Nerf gun and other memorabilia that was coming out. And the person looked like they wanted to vomit. Like they almost did on stage. They were just like very like, can I go? Because the host went over and like somebody went over and picked her up and put her in front of the microphone.
Oh my God.
It was just utterly painful to watch. So I waited until trailers were available for that very reason. The only ones that they actually did a trailer of that I gave a rip about was they didn't do Strange New Worlds. They just kind of teased a little bit of stuff. But they did Star Trek Picard Season 3 teaser.
Yeah.
And that one was the only one worth watching. And they showed the various crew members. They said that, they showed the USS Titan A, because apparently something happened to the original one, and this one looks more like the original Enterprise in a sense, but updated. So it's kind of strange. But anyways, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just unsure about it. But yeah, so that happened last week, and then of course this week we had D23 and stuff from Marvel, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Avatar, Pixar, everything under the sun.
Everything Disney owns, yeah.
Yep.
And I don't give a rip about Avatar.
I hate Avatar with a passion, but that's because I didn't like the first movie. And everybody was like clamoring over it, like nuts to get to this 3D movie. And they're like, It's so real. It's so blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, you guys are just like, it's a bloody movie. Like, it wasn't that great, like unobtainium, like for the rare material.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love James Cameron back in the day, but a lot of his new stuff is just trash.
Yeah, I'm not drinking the blue milk. And the thing is, I would actually have to look it up, but what the hell has James Cameron done since the very first Avatar film?
He's worked on the next 4.
Yeah, that's it. Like, come on, man, do something else. Give it up. Like, seriously.
People don't care.
Yeah. So Star Trek was last week. We got D23 this week.
Yep.
Somebody said somewhere that, convention season is usually winding down. And it kind of is. I mean, New York Comic Con is kind of the last big thing for that and all of that. But yeah, Avatar was 2009. Since then, he really hasn't done much.
No.
I mean, as a director, he has not done much. I mean, he's done a lot of writing stuff for various Terminator things and other things like that. But, like, the last thing that wasn't Terminator or Avatar was a TV movie, like Torque, The First Flight. He was a collaborating director in 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his directing from, the 80s and 90s, The Abyss, Aliens, Terminator 2, True Lies, like, why can't he do something like True Lies? Or not necessarily, like something like that, or something like Titanic, something that isn't trying to be this next sci-fi universe. Blah. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, D23, lots of stuff from, as you said, Disney and Marvel and Pixar and all that. Where do we want to start?
Well, we might as well start with Marvel since it's first there.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I mean, they had a scene from the new Black Panther Wakanda Forever because the actor that played T'Challa, Black Panther, actually passed away in real life. So they honored that in the film rather than recasting.
Yeah,
which I honestly is a tasteful move. I think that deservedly so was probably the right call, even though it kind of sucks they won't get to see another actor portray that role and continue it. It makes sense to kind of do that to honor him.
Yeah, and I don't know what Marvel. Well, we do, because we did a few episodes ago, I had mentioned everything that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con between Phase 5 and Phase 6, but we don't know what they're doing with the Black Panther property after Wakanda Forever, so it makes sense that it would, transfer to his sister or to whomever else, and like they said in the first Black Panther film, there was Black Panthers before him. There'll be Black Panthers after him. I mean, it does absolutely suck that he passed away. And, but it's just, it is what it is. There was news from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which apparently kicks off Phase 5. I think that something that's come out recently in the last, couple of days, it's interesting that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania kicks it off, and Captain America New World Order closes out Phase 5. The Avengers are no more. We now have the Thunderbolts. A whole different team.
Is it bad that I don't care? Like, I mean, I saw somebody post this on Twitter the other day, and I don't remember the exact verbiage of it, but more or less it was like the Avengers, like Marvel for me ended when Endgame ended. Like after that, there really is no, like you're playing at this point, they're playing in the playground of tertiary characters like the Thunderbolts, like Winter Soldier isn't, but like the rest of them.
Yeah.
And then there's the secondary characters are like, your Sam Wilson, your She-Hulk, your, characters like that. Like they're not,
but
they're not your top tier characters anymore.
I would say Sam Wilson is a top tier character.
He is now.
Yeah.
That he's Captain America.
But even before then, he was super cool as Falcon.
He was, but I'm saying he was still in the second tier. Like he was relegated to sidekick status because of Captain America. with him off the board, it gives room for him to breathe.
Yeah.
So, like, in that regard, they're trying to clear the palette and start over with new heroes to kind of, honor what was before, but kind of move on too, so that they're not using the same people over and over. And I get it. I do. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that it's going to hit the same as let's put it this way. Marvel had a nice run with their everything up through Endgame.
Yep.
And the formula worked great. I think at this point, they're going to have to reevaluate after everything they do. Because I feel like they're not going to resonate the same as they did during the first, 3 phases.
Yeah.
Up through Endgame. Like, I think everything from here on out is going to be a gamble of whether it's going to sink or swim.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, and I saw this the other day too, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I saw this somewhere. Somebody said that apparently Star Wars is no more movies, only TV.
Which Marvel's doing that now too.
Right.
To some degree.
Right. And what I'm going to say about the whole thing is that I prefer Star Wars. I don't prefer it over the movies we've already gotten, but I would much rather have a Star Wars series like The Mandalorian than have to worry about the next trilogy or quadrology or sexology or whatever. Like, yep. I don't need another set of 2.5-hour films that just recycle plots from the film from 1977.
No, and I get that. Like, I really do. I'm kind of to the point I'm kind of to the point I'm just done with Marvel. Like, I mean, yeah, I'll watch some of the stuff here or there, but honestly, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not invested. It's almost like the DC like the CW verse, the Arrowverse. Like, I cared to a point, and then when they went through their massive world-ending
crisis,
I'm not invested anymore. When you do these like world-ending, scenarios, and then you're like, okay, everything's done.
Yep.
It's now it's time for a reboot into, new heroes, new villains. I feel like you've kind of crapped the bed there. Like, it's at that point, like, just do standalone stuff.
Well, yes, I agree.
Degree.
Yeah, I agree with you there to some degree, but I will say that with Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Carol Danvers with the whole Marvels thing, I think that's kind of cool. That's, 2 different, sets of fans coming together to watch that. I don't know if there will ever be another Tony Stark Iron Man in live action. I used to have my finger on the pulse of who Hollywood could potentially cast for certain roles. Now, I don't know anymore. Like, in 2007 or 2000, whenever it was that the Iron Man stuff first started happening, and they're like, Robert Downey Jr., and I'm like, ooh, I know that guy from this, and this, and this. He would make a perfect Iron Man, great. Or Michael Keaton as Batman. Ooh, I knew him as a kid from the Dream Team movie with Christopher Lloyd, and I knew him as Mr. Mom, or whatever, or Beetlejuice, Like, oh, he'll be a great Batman. I don't, like... Somebody posted on Facebook the other day, like, one of those, like, who would win in a battle kind of things. And it was 2 female actresses that I didn't even know. And they're, I'm just like, who and who? That was what my comment was. Because I'm like, I don't know these people. I think that Marvel Feige is not unintelligent at all. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he potentially wants to go with this, and if we get once we get the X-Men, game changer. Once the Fantastic Four is brought in, game changer. I'm not saying we're going to get Hugh Jackman or
No, and I'm not expecting that.
Right. But I'm saying, like, that's the direction that the MCU can now go by telling new and different stories without having to, like, if we eventually get the new Avengers, like, fine, great, cool, awesome. But you're right. 2008 to 2019, we had a good 11-year run, you know.
And at this point, I think we're kind of done with that run. I think it's a new beginning, and which means a lot of your old fans are probably going to drop off the face of the earth. And
I don't know about that.
I think that we're gonna see a turnover on a lot of the content. Like it's like what the conversation we were having with DJ. There's going to be a lot of slamming individuals that don't agree with the loudest and whiniest of the fandoms. And everybody's free to enjoy like whatever they want. That's not what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, there should be other alternatives for people because some people may not care about, the top tier. They may like some of these ones that are obscure and don't, get a lot of limelight, which is perfectly fine. It's just, I'm saying that I don't feel like they're going to hit the same as some of the stuff that's come before it.
Okay, so you look at...
I feel like there's going to be a lot of flack for people calling out bad writing.
Yeah.
When it's deservedly so.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to use the only one I can use as an example, and I will ask you it in a way that it'll matter to you. As an example, the Masters of the Universe franchise had a cartoon in 1983, 2002, and now we have the current crop of cartoons that have come up over the last couple of years. But let's just say from Filmation in 1983 to 2002, that's okay. Yes, there was New Adventures from 90 to 91, but that was only one season. That's a huge gap in that fandom. So for you, to bring it around to what I know that you like and you enjoy, for Star Trek, how much of a gap was it between, let's say, Next Gen and Deep Space Nine?
They came out within 2 years of each other.
Okay.
And same thing with Voyager and Enterprise. They all came out within a bundle of a couple of years between each other.
Okay. So my point in saying all of this and asking you this and you giving me that answer is that things...
But each one progressively got worse.
Okay, well, we're not talking about
because
quality
TNG
here.
was good, Deep Space Nine was good later on.
Yeah.
Voyager was better later on, and then Enterprise was better later on. Like when they first launched, they were crap, and then we had a 10-year gap before
2009.
Between television series. 2005 was when Enterprise was canceled, and then 2015 was when Discovery started, and Discovery was utter garbage. And still is utter garbage. Picard is utter garbage, even though they've brought back some fan favorite characters, and they're attempting to do something with season 3. I don't know what yet, but season 2 was an unnecessary mess of time travel shenanigans that absolutely make no sense because the way they wrote it made it overly complicated when it didn't have to be.
Right.
Just for a crap outcome. So again, what I'm saying is each one of these series, even though Picard is so-called a continuation of the Next Gen, it's still utter garbage. And what's sad is Strange New Worlds, which has come after that, was actually good. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, you have your good run of shows, which are the original stuff that came out, pre-2005. And then you have the stuff that came out 2015 through now. And we're just now starting to get good series out of Trek, which is Strange New Worlds, which is Lower Decks, which is Prodigy. But you had a couple of crap shoots from the start.
Yeah. So my point in saying all of this is that as a fan in a certain fandom, what you like isn't gone. You can always go back to whatever, but they have to keep bringing in the new fans. And for me, with Marvel specifically, there's a lot of things in Phase 5 that I have even Phase 4. It's not that I don't dislike it. I either have no interest in it or I don't know. Like, the Marvels, okay, Kamala Khan. I know she was in the Avengers video game that Naughty Dog had. Great, sure, fine, whatever. I think that's cool. Like, seeing 70-year-old Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, with this bushy-ass beard and his eye patch, I was like, hey, look, it's Fury. And then everybody was like, yeah, but they're doing Secret Invasion wrong. It should be longer than a 6-episode miniseries or whatever. And I'm like,
see, that doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care that they're modifying the original plot line.
Yeah.
Because they have to kind of switch it up anyway, because otherwise it's just doing the same thing, and what's the point in that?
True.
It's to me, like, I like the fact that Fury is going to be a focal point of that.
Yeah.
And he's getting his own series. I do like the fact that they're breaking these out into series instead of films.
Yeah.
But the other aspect I don't really like is that essentially, like, they're giving everything a series when it may not be strong enough to support it. I mean, think about Boba Fett.
Yes, I'd like not to, but
it was falling on its face within a couple episodes. They had to bring in Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian just to keep it going. Like, I mean, it speaks volumes. Like, there's certain things that just shouldn't have a series. It should be a footnote of another one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I will say, though, with Marvel, yes, I completely agree with you. From Iron Man to Endgame, that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we knew it.
Yeah.
While I do enjoy what Marvel television shows I've seen WandaVision, I've seen Falcon and Winter, and I've seen Hawkeye. I have zero interest in Loki as a character, so I highly doubt I will ever watch Loki as a series because I don't care about the character. I kind of like these little vignettes of 6-episode series because you're not having to put so much into a 2-hour movie every 2 to 3 years kind of thing, whereas you can do these smaller. I mean, it's still like Falcon and Winter was, even Hawkeye, I mean, it was still large-scale Marvel feel. Like I said when I watched the first, when I watched all Falcon and Winter, I said, this feels like a 6-hour Marvel movie. Because each episode was just under an hour. But I didn't say that as a bad thing. I said it as a good thing. I said, holy crap, this is awesome. This is cool. I like where this is going. And if that's the model that they're going to go, like, yes, there needs to be a couple of Marvel films per year kind of thing. But because Phase 5 and Phase 6 is going to be introducing all these new things and all this new stuff, and that's great. I've said before, I'm not against the new stuff. I want to give it a try, but I don't want, like, after 11 years of MCU, I don't want to feel like I'm locked into the next 11 years of my life trying to figure out characters I've never even known before. I don't know. I'm an old fogey, folks. Anything else with Marvel you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. I think the Secret Invasion is the only thing kind of going for it.
Okay. Star Wars. Yay!
I like the idea of Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, man, that's going to be great. That's going to be so cool.
Because you'll get backstory on some of them.
Yep. I am still in the middle of my Clone Wars rewatch. The Clone Wars, I should say. I think up to season 5 of that series, and then after that I will go to Rebels, and then after that I will go to whatever's next in that animated. I think the Bad Batch is the next set of whatever. But I haven't finished that yet. I have enjoyed what I've seen of because I'd never watched the Clone Wars before because it wasn't on. Like, I don't pay attention to TV airings anymore. So now that we have streaming, it's like, oh, I can watch all of it all at once if I wanted to. So I'm in the middle of that. That's been really fun. I really enjoy the Clone Wars. Yeah, like you said, Tales of the Jedi is going to be cool. I have never seen Rogue One.
I have. I don't care about Andor, to be honest. I didn't really like Rogue One because I didn't feel like it was needed.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. I didn't, there was no draw for me to give a rip.
Yeah, I think, oh wait, I did see it because we did episode 135 with, yeah, it's been a long time since I saw Rogue One, and I know Birdman and I were going to be doing, we're going to continue on our Star Wars journey over on Studio, and Rogue One was the next film, and we just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, I don't give a rip about Andor. Where Star Wars is for me is it's Mando and Tales of the Jedi. So that's Star Wars. For Disney themselves, I really am not interested in 90% of what Disney announced. The only thing I'm interested in, and it only has a picture of a title, and it only has a little bit of plot information, but Inside Out 2, the rest of what Disney announced for their, please, for the love of God, stop doing live action versions of your animated films.
But I also find that Disney's being lazy with all of their live action stuff. The stories are verbatim, their animated stuff regurgitated with live action people.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to constantly spit out the same story. Yeah, we've got these scripts. Let's turn this animated movie into a live action just because. It's like, how about you just write something new?
Yeah.
Like, you want a different spin on something? Create a different, version of it. I mean, it's not regurgitating the same exact film. Reinvent it.
Yeah,
they have no problem doing it with Marvel. They have no problem redoing it with Star Wars. Why are they regurgitating 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old Disney animated films as live action? Because it doesn't take any work to regurgitate it as a live action.
Very true.
And it's not that. That's not the only one. Like, they're doing like a Captain Hook, or Peter Pan. They're doing
Peter Pan and Wendy.
Mufasa the Lion King prequel series. They're doing a new Haunted Mansion. They're doing Disenchanted. I liked the Enchanted movie just because it was kind of fun and different, like a different take on the whole princess thing and that they got going on. So that'll be interesting because it's different. It's not a regurgitation of something.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones 5, I'm excited for just because I haven't watched any of the other ones to completion, but I've enjoyed what I've seen. And it's Harrison Ford and the composer.
John Williams.
Yeah. It's both of their last indie film, and it's John Williams' last film.
Oh, he's retiring after indie, is he?
Yep. Well, he's 90 and Harrison Ford's 80.
Yeah.
It's when's a good time?
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, but I think, I don't know what it is about some of these big conventions now where they, okay, Kevin Feige didn't reveal everything at SDCC, but they did go through the timeline of what Phase 5 and Phase 6 would potentially include for the most part. And that's great. We have a roadmap. That's awesome. And now we are kind of getting to see where that roadmap is going. And that's cool. But out of all of the D23 stuff, there's nothing. The fact that Fury showed up on screen. That was my biggest excitement. That and and Mando Season 3. Those were the two biggest. The Secret Invasion and Mando Season 3 were the two biggest draws for me. But everything else, I'm like, okay, I'll watch it eventually. Or I won't watch it at all, depending on what it is, obviously. But, I don't know. It just doesn't
mesh. What
is it about announcements now? And I'm not, and you can say, oh, well, the new, so part of that CNET article that'll be in the show notes post, or the notes or whatever on the website, it mentions that Daredevil Born Again will be 18 episodes. We knew that 4 months ago. okay, it's filming now, or it'll film next year, or whatever. It goes back to my whole thing I said over a decade ago. Filming dates and filming locations are not news to me, personally.
No, they're not for me either.
A news item, a newsworthy item would be if Kevin Feige or...
It's Feige.
Whatever. Feige. I want to call him Kevin Feige now, because it looks like Feige is beige, or whatever. If he stood up there and took us through all of it, great, fine, awesome, yay.
But what's the point in teasing all the stuff?
Yeah, when we're not going to see it for X number of whenever and whatever. But there, I don't know, man. I don't feel jaded. I just feel like there's no shock and awe anymore.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I'm kind of just like, I take it or leave it at this point.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that came out? Oh, I guess I'll have to check that out. That kind of thing. Like, I don't remember. When was that really? It's kind of like one of those things where you forget about something for a while, and then you're on. Because all these streaming services like to remind you of the new and upcoming things. Like, oh, when did that come out? Oh, that came out a month ago. Oh, where the hell was I? I don't know. I don't care. Well, I guess I can watch it now. Yep. It's just one of those things. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else that D23 did or didn't do that we should bring up?
No, I mean, I think I kind of covered everything that I care about. Like, there's not much else.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So what did you guys think of D23 or Star Trek Day or any of those things for that matter? Let us know. Feedback at geekcastradio.com, or let us know on the website post or on your favorite social media platforms. So, yeah,
Yep.
That's about this episode.
That's about this episode. Next episode, we're going to talk more about fandom. Oh, no.
Yeah, fandoms. Critics and fans. That's going to be what we're going to talk about.
Forget zombies versus werewolves, folks. It's critics versus fans.
Yep, critics versus fans.
Oh, Lord, help us all.
Yep. Alrighty. So you can get a hold of us on the social medias. You can find us on, of course, Geekcast Radio and your favorite podcast platform. But you can get a hold of us on Twitter at Altered Geek, or myself at SCP21. What is yours, sir?
At TFG and Mike.
So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.